Hi, tonight we're going to talk about transition to non-transition. Non-transition is not laziness, but a transition from the mind that is always active to the soul that is always at peace. This transition is about experiencing something different from the hassles that the mind always thinks up. We don't have to wait for our life to fall apart to make this change from thinking to a spiritual state of just being present. Pain and chaos is usually the stimulus in the dark night of the soul to go deeper to a new experience. We don't have to do anything to keep our life from falling apart. We just need to be calm and tolerate what is before us. The guidance will come from within. Our minds want to get control and make us stronger by pulling us up on the reins to secure and narrow the situation when we just need the freedom to let go of the problems plaguing our mind so we can find new meaning and reorient, changing our focus and direction before becoming bitter as the spirit feels what the mind ignores. Walt Whitman said, "Re-examine all you have been told. Dismiss what insults your soul." Rumi said, "Step out of the circle of time and into the circle of love." Buddha said, "Just as a candle cannot burn without fire, man cannot live without a spiritual life." We can't have a transformation until we have a spiritual experience to transition to. Our mind is limited, so it looks for an ideology to follow. But for reality, an ideology is unfit for life because a good condition and good health is beyond the mind and ideology. To find meaning in life, we need to live life and not put life into concepts. When we are free, we let go instead of becoming rigid, narrow-minded, and closed down, becoming unpleasant and distressful. Therefore, we transform to the inner spiritual life that just happens, and when we let go of the pressure and the backsliding into unhealthy patterns. Change happens without us doing a thing. Life and reality are dynamic, so we just need to embrace them instead of resisting. In Genesis, God started the dynamic process of creation, and it grew more complex with evolution. It began without life, but life suddenly appeared and multiplied in a dynamic flow that changes with the seasons. Lao Tzu said, "New beginnings are often disguised as painful endings." T.S. Eliot said, "Every moment is a fresh beginning." Aristotle said, "Change in all things is sweet." Meister Eckhart said, "And suddenly you know it's time to start something new and trust the magic of beginnings." Our lives can't get better if we never change, so don't be afraid as we are being led to a new beginning. Therefore, we embrace change and take the first step. We don't have to have it all calculated and worked out beforehand. It is only difficult because we make changes complicated and worry. Life is a stream, a progression of entrances, signs, and images to apply to in order to enter a new experience. We are crossing a portal from the known to the unknown that we forgot about, but it was always there. Our mind leads us away from it with actions past, resolving problems and desires. To get what it wants, the mind invents concepts and ways to achieve those beliefs. Wanting to be enlightened is a concept the ego wants for itself, so the mind becomes preoccupied with it, but it only sees itself. Enlightened people are not concerned about it. They are into the spiritual experience of being in the present moment. Enlightened ones are not concerned about themselves, the ego, what level they are at, achievements, or accomplishments. Not having a path is not a problem because they are already enlightened, so don't need it. They see through spiritual experience, reality, life, and what is happening in the moment. Spiritual things are all around us in our body, mind, and self in a spiritual experience to be realized. Lao Tzu sums up the Tao Te Ching in a sentence. Practice not doing, and everything will fall into place. Ramana Maharishi said, if you see separation, you are in the same boat as everyone else. As long as you think there are others to enlighten, you are not enlightened yourself. Our mind can understand some things with science, how the universe functions, but it will not understand enlightenment without going beyond the mind itself. Our mind is limited, so it blinds us with narrow vision, preferences and priorities that stand before us, so we can't find our way home to the soul. When we go beyond the mind to consciousness, spirit, or soul, we experience no boundaries. The mind tells us we exist in time and space, but in consciousness we experience time and space and beyond time and space. This spiritual experience of bliss can't be corrupted because there are no desires, so love, joy, peace, and creativity come into being. It is not a personal concept that engages the mind because it is an elevated state of being that transcends the physical and mental realities in a higher dimension. Many people at different times in many places have experienced enlightenment throughout history. Eckhart Tolle says, all problems are illusions of the mind. Sri Maharaj says, don't ask the mind to confirm what is beyond the mind. Direct experience is the only valid confirmation. The Upanishads say, when the mind is silent, beyond weakness and non-concentration, then it can enter into a world which is far beyond the mind, the highest end. Rajneesh said, our mind is a machine. It is not a mystery, and the mind always wants to know the how, the why. And because of this persistent inquiry about how and why, it goes on missing all that is beyond the boundaries of machines. Life is beyond the boundaries of machines. Thank you.